Hi everyone, it's Teresa V, and this is the place to be to create a life in a world that you love. I'm really excited to be here talking about the art of receiving today, because this is something that is difficult for every single one of us. At the time this video is being recorded, it's right around the holiday season, and there's an incredible frenetic energy that happens at this time of year. There's so much joy, there's so much light, and there's also so much stress and anxiety and worry. The mounting list of tasks on top of an already completely full to-do list can make it very difficult for us to feel grounded and be in a place of enjoyment. It's also important for us to acknowledge before we get into it that this time of year, the holiday season, is not always joy-filled and light-filled for everyone. This can be very difficult depending on what you're experiencing in your life. So we just want to be very cognizant of how everyone can experience this season differently. If you're having a hard time this year, our hearts are with you. You are not alone. Please feel free to reach out and just allow yourself to receive some love from your community. And the rest of the video will help you to do exactly that. So the increase in energy at this time of year is not just because of the increase in busyness and the high level of vibration that comes with the holiday season. You'll notice there can be fights in stores and parking lots simply because of the mounting pressure around giving and receiving. We just can't process it. For many, there's so much focus on giving the perfect item, giving the perfect gift, giving the perfect experience, that there's very little focus or room even left for the counterbalance energy of receiving. Now, in all fairness, for most of us, it will always be more fun to give than to receive. And it's not just because that's what we were taught. It's actually because it's who we are. It's in our nature to be givers. We do need to be able to practice the sacred art of receiving. It is an integral part of our experience here on this planet, and it creates joy and enjoyment, and it also creates the potential for other people to experience the art of giving. Are you the kind of person who asks everyone what they most want and then goes out of their way, shopping for hours, standing online, looking endlessly through online shops to find exactly what that person wants? Or maybe you just have a great idea and it just speaks to who this person is. And then when the same person turns around and says to you, what could you use? What do you want or need? Are you the person who doesn't have an answer for that? Are you the person who can't tell someone either because you don't know what you want or need, or because you don't feel that it's right or polite to ask for what you need? Are you the person who says, nope, just don't give me anything. Please, please save your money. Just don't get me anything. This does so many things. This increases the other person's stress level because they're going to get you something anyway, and you've just made it a whole lot more difficult. You've set up the energy of repelling what they want to give you, repelling their offer to give you something. It sets up an imbalanced energetic exchange where you're saying, I'm going to give to you, but I'm not allowing you the ease of flow to give to me. There's also indoctrination around speaking what we desire, speaking about what we want, or asking for what we need. When we say to people that we don't want or need anything, then we are often not telling the truth, and we are also repeating that cycle and reinforcing that information that it is not safe for us and it is not okay for us to speak our wants and our needs. Everyone in the entire world likes to receive gifts. It's been the indoctrination or the fear that has prevented us from being honest about that. The other thing that happens, and this is just a human thing, when we actually say that we don't want anything or we tell people not to get us anything, is they get us something anyway, and often it's not anything that we want. It's nothing that we would like or enjoy, and we have to act, and we have to act badly, pretending that we like the gift because it was nice of them to think of us and to get us anything at all. It'd be a lot easier just to be able to receive in the first place. This brings us to the why. Why is this the case? And often when we talk about the why, we're talking about the guilt wound. Guilt is a wound that speaks to us, and it tells us we are not worthy or we are not deserving enough to receive. And this can be for any number of reasons, and very often these voices are very explicit about why. What happens then is we are already overgivers. We are people who naturally give more than we receive. And this guilt wound drives us into overgiving even more. A practical example of this that we see all the time is divorcing or working parents. Often the guilt for not spending as much time with our kids as we would have otherwise drives us to convince ourselves that we need to spend a certain amount of time with them, even though we might be tired or need to recharge or just have one of those nights where we need to get in the bath and decompress from the day. But often what we do is we convince ourselves that spending 30 minutes playing with our kid when we really don't want to is the better action to take. And then we're not fully present there anyway because we don't have the energy to be present. We just are too tired. The funny thing is that human beings understand when another human being needs to recharge. People understand when you can't give anymore. And in fact, the truth is that it surprises people when you continue to say yes, despite the fact that we don't have the resources. We are already tired. For overgivers, the holidays tend to exacerbate that trait in us. We find ourselves over time becoming more and more depleted, where we want to do all of the things the right way, the best way, and sometimes maybe we just have to admit that some things just aren't going to get done. So the realization that guilt is a huge part of what prevents us from being able to receive because we are so far into the overgiving mode that we just don't know how to be receptive. That awareness alone will help start to shift things. Another thing that we see is our mind moving into a state of fear about what will my life look like if I actually am able to receive all of the things that I've been asking for. We become fearful of what will happen to us or for us or through us if we are in a state of total receptivity. When we are already overloaded, the mind shuts down completely to receiving. And this is in the energetic as well as the very practical ways. It's when somebody goes to buy us a cup of coffee or pay the check and we argue with them about it instead of just saying thank you and allowing ourselves to receive this gift. Our higher selves, our divine team, and our angels have so many gifts in store for us. They are holding so many things that we've been asking for, we've been desiring, and that are better than anything we could even imagine. And if we don't learn how to receive, then they will never actually be able to give us these things. And as we move towards a state of receiving, it's important for us to realize that guilt is an old energy that can be released, an energy tied to past actions, and the past is done. There's nothing else we can do about it other than release. There's also a huge sense of lack mentality for us still. We've been working on it. But there's a piece of us that always feels that if we receive, we are taking away from somebody else, potentially somebody else who needs more than we do. I see this a lot in the angel work that I do. People are hesitant to call upon the angels because they always feel like somebody else needs their assistance and their help more than they do. But the truth is that the angels can be everywhere and with everyone at the exact same time. They don't have the limitations of time and space that we have. This comes from an earlier experience in life where we've had to take turns, even if it's meals or going to school, simply because of what the family situation was. Maybe there was a time in our life where there was lack, and we don't need to carry that anymore because we now know that there is enough for everyone, that everyone is entitled to infinite abundance. It's their birthright. And so when we start to move in the direction of functioning from that place by allowing these old experiences and ideas of lack mentality to show themselves to us so that we can clear them, then we become much more receptive. If you're really, really ready to clear the energy of lack and limitation that's been holding you and the collective back, I invite you to join our group Angelic support session happening at 1 p.m. Eastern Time on December 30th of this year. We'll be doing an end of the year cleanup of all lack and limitation energy that is ready to be released, transmuted, otherwise let go of, and brought into a new and higher imprint around receiving, acceptance, and knowing our worth. The session will be a combination of angelic messages specific to the group and very deep energy therapy that will go right to the core wounds that we are ready to address. We'll be using various healing techniques throughout the call, and we will be clearing for ourselves and for the collective so that we can enter the next decade and the next year from a place of empowered, sovereign choice. Remember, what we do for one, we do for all. I'm so excited to invite you to take part in this experience. Just click the link in the description of this video and or in the comments to join that call. And don't worry if you can't be there in person, the energy will carry through and you'll be able to listen in on your very own copy of the recording. I cannot wait to see you there and to see what it is that you create in 2020 for yourself and on behalf of the whole. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much, as always, for sharing these videos, for getting them into the hands and into the hearts of those who truly need these messages. I look so forward to being here with you again in the new year, and I wish you a beautiful and blessed holiday season.